Hello, it's orenjpiko here, your 2D escape from the 3D woes. You're probably wondering what was going on at the beginning of the video, and it's my fun way of telling you about my newest illustration. Here, it's called Bird Brain. And you're probably like, why is it called Bird Brain? There are no birds. Well, we are going to get into that. So again, this is my newest illustration called Bird Brain, and we're doing an art chit chat as I've done in the past. You should check out my other art chit chats if you'd like. But yeah, so in today's art chit chat, we're going to go over materials. We're going to go over what is this? Like, what are you seeing in this picture, in this illustration? We're going to go over what inspired me and the lore, like who are these characters? What do they do? We're going to go over the sketches as I've done in the past. And the last thing I'm going to do is just point out some like fashion aspects that I was really excited to draw, because sometimes I like to try and include different like fashion pieces that I find that are interesting. So let's get started with the materials. So what did I use to make this? I used black ink, I used Pilot drafting ink, and I used Sakura Pigma markers, and I used like a big permanent marker for the black slashes part. For paper, normally I use Bristol paper, but this time I used, I think it's Strathmore. If it's wrong, I'll correct it, but I'm pretty sure it's Strathmore drawing paper, which is different than the Bristol paper. The Bristol paper has its benefits. It's nice that it's like nice and thick, and it is smooth. However, I do prefer the drawing paper because I like the friction against the nib. It just feels a lot nicer, and I do feel like it kind of affects your stroke, and you kind of get like not so much a different look, but you can kind of get a different look, like a different way that like your hand kind of interacts with the paper with the nib. So I kind of think I want to keep going with the Strathmore drawing paper for the next thing I do. I got it as a very large roll, so I also think like it's what I want to use to do bigger pieces as well. So yeah, that's pretty much what I used to create this. Moving on to inspiration. Moving on to what is this? Like, what are you seeing here? So we have three guys here. There are three delinquents. We have a guy at the front. He has a bandana on, a necklace, a baseball bat, and he's like holding it like on the back. And then we have a guy here, and he's like holding up this guy's chin, and he's just kind of being very like playful, kind of like bothersome. And then we have this guy here. He's getting his neck tilted up, and he's kind of very annoyed at this guy. And this guy's also reaching around and grabbing something from his pocket. In terms of the background, we have a bunch of sunflowers, and then just some like hatching, and then big like black like slashes. So that's pretty much like in a nutshell what you see here. In terms of inspiration, like what does this all mean? What does this have to do with each other? I was inspired by the birds in my neighborhood, as odd as that sounds. There are a lot of cardinals, blue jays, and robins in my neighborhood. I haven't seen the blue jays this winter, so I'm wondering if they migrated for the winter. I did, like, in my research, find that they don't have, like, fixed migratory patterns. So maybe, like, one winter they stay, one winter they go. So, like, maybe this was the winter that they left. But yeah, those are the three birds I see in my neighborhood a lot. And I usually always take pictures of them, and sometimes, like, I'll send them to people. Some people don't really care, but, like, I think they look cool. So I will put some pictures up of the pictures, like, I took of the birds in my neighborhood. Mind you, I'm not National Geographic, but I tried my best to get as close as I could. And I just kind of thought, I don't know, like I really like looking at birds. And I thought, it would be cool if I made like characters or an illustration based on like birds, like how they look, their personalities. So that's kind of pretty much what I did. They're not meant to be like exactly representative of the birds, but I did take inspiration from what I learned in my research to kind of apply it to their personalities and their character and like some aspects of their looks. So as odd as it sounds, this was inspired by the birds in my neighborhood. So now moving on, like how did I go about this? How did I approach this? So obviously, like, I had my own pictures. And then I went ahead and in my notebook, I mentioned this notebook in a video that I should have already posted. It's like my most treasured art notebook. So I did some research and I put everything in my handy dandy notebook for any Blues fans. I just have posted a video about this. I should have. And it's basically like my most treasured art book. I put like all of my ideas. I do thumbnails if I do like a contest. But yeah, if you want to check out what I say about this and other notebooks that are kind of like important to me, I'll put like a card up. But yeah, so I kind of just did some research. I took notes in here. I don't really like share what's inside, but maybe I'll do like a little page. But yeah, I looked up like their habitats, their eating patterns, or what they eat, their migratory patterns, just kind of general facts about them, their nesting, facts about their songs and calls. I also found a website where like you could listen to the calls of the birds, so that was kind of cool too. I did like take a little listen. But yeah, I just kind of took some notes. Here's like a quick little glance. Just some notes about the birds. That one those aren't really personal pages. It's literally just facts about birds. So I'm not too like shy about sharing that. I also like went ahead and just printed some pictures of the robins, cardinals, and blue jays, just kind of look at while I was kind of brainstorming like different traits and things that I wanted to use for each character. And yeah, after this, I just kind of went ahead further page in the next few pages and did some thumbnails. And that's how I kind of tried to flesh out the idea. Sometimes, like in terms of inspiration, I am inspired with a composition. Like I already see kind of what I want and I kind of apply, maybe it's fashion or just like whatever I feel like to the composition. This one I found was more difficult because before having a composition, I had an idea in mind. And then it was now, how do I take that idea and think of a composition that would work best for that? So usually, like, I mean, I love to be inspired either way. I appreciate being inspired. Thank you, brain. But I think I prefer to be inspired with a composition first, because when I have an idea that I need to think of a composition for, the brain doesn't stop. It's like this. And I kind of have to just decide on something. But yeah, that's pretty much like how I went about taking my idea and turning it into what you see here. Okay, moving on to lore and personality. Like, who are these people? What is their story? What is going on? And I also want to talk about what personality traits or what physical traits I took from what I learned about birds and how I applied it to these characters. So my lore for these guys is that they are 3 delinquents. They're students. I want to say they're maybe like college or university students in my mind. And they're like the nice delinquents. Like, I feel like, kind of think of like Windbreaker. They will never like start trouble for no reason, but like they'll still fight you and they'll still win the fight. But however, they can be so helpful. Like if they see an old lady who needs help, like they'll help her. But then at the same time, like, don't mess with them, like, because they'll fight you. So that's kind of the delinquent idea that I had here. I wanted to do 3 delinquents. Initially, I kind of had like a Golden Win kind of mafia delinquent idea. However, I kind of went with the more like stereotypical, like classic delinquent kind of look. Because I kind of felt like, well, you can have fun with both fashions, but I kind of was more inspired to do like a more like, I don't know, like a street look. I don't know if that makes sense. But yeah. Yeah, they're pretty much 3 delinquents. They're nice delinquents that don't cause trouble for no reason, but they are very good at fighting. If I had to sum up kind of big parts of their personality, I feel like he is the guy who's like getting into fights. This is the cardinal, by the way. This is the blue jay. He is like egging him on to fight. Like, yeah, go fight. And this is the robin. And he's like, please, like, don't fight. Like, let's not do anything unnecessary. So I feel like that's kind of their friendship in a nutshell. They are friends, so they're like in their own little group. If you notice, I'll show you like a close-up afterwards, but they are all wearing gloves because they have motorcycles. And not like, I mean, I think Harleys are cool, but they drive like the sporty motorcycles. I think those ones are, in my opinion, just like super duper cool. So they like ride bikes together and they like hang out and they have fun. And yeah, they're just like three really cool guys. And they all have a very distinct personality. And they're very helpful and kind. However, they're very good at fighting at the same time. And they like to ride their bikes, as I said. And they just like, I don't know, live their lives, have a good time. They love to express themselves through their passion, and they're very like distinct. And they get along, but then they also fight each other, but in like a playful way. So yeah, that's pretty much their lore. They're very cool, and I like them, and I hope you like them too. In terms of like their personality, like what did I take from my research about birds? I just have my notes here, just in front of you. So this is our cardinal guy. Basically, he is very impulsive. He's very territorial with his friends and like his group. And he can be like, he can bite you. He can be a bit aggressive when he needs to be. And that's because what I found out about cardinals is that they are very territorial, like toward their nest. Like if another cardinal like approaches, or someone who shouldn't be approaching them approaches, they will like look to fight them. So I thought like that would be like something that can very much apply to like my cardinal delinquent here. In terms of impulsivity, that is a characteristic he has because apparently cardinals, it is very common for them to mistake their reflection for themselves, and they get territorial and aggressive. So they might fly into the window, which is unfortunate. However, I took that as this guy being very impulsive. And that's also why I drew him kind of like looking at whoever is looking at this piece, because it's kind of like he's like threatening to fight you because you're looking at him. You're invading his territory, where his friends are, where he's hanging out. So he is being very like a bit aggressive and a bit impulsive, even though he knows, he doesn't know you're like a nice person. Like I'm sure whoever you are looking at my artwork, I'm sure you're a great person. So he doesn't know you're a great person. He's just being impulsive, and he has his bat and he wants to fight you. So yeah, those are the main like personality points. But he's a very nice guy. As I'm sure cardinals are very nice birds. Like I see them, they look so nice. And like physically, I learned that the brighter their feathers, like the more attractive they are. So obviously, like I'm not using red. I use black ink for the full thing. But I did make his hair very shiny. So he has very beautiful, long, shiny hair. So that was something else that I took from the cardinal. That's pretty much it. Like it in a nutshell, like without going on and on and on and on. He's just an impulsive, aggressive, nice guy with beautiful hair. So maybe that's something that you're drawn to. Moving on to our Robin. So our Robin character here, he's very like, I thought it was so cute. I saw on one website they're described as small and plump. So I'm like, okay, he has to be small and plump. He is the smallest of the three. If you like, when I show you closely, you'll see like his leg is kind of up a bit. So he is kind of being like pulled a little bit up by the blue jay. And the blue jay is kind of leaning forward slightly, like his neck's a bit down. So if he were to like stand upright, he would definitely be taller than the robin. And when I looked at all of the actual sizings of the birds, the robin on average is smaller than the cardinal. Even though it's like plump, like it has like the stomach, it is like generally smaller than the cardinal and the blue jay. So I did kind of want to reflect that in their sizes as well. Another thing that I found was that robins are usually the first birds to lay eggs in the spring. So I kind of interpreted that as being a very responsible person. So this robin, he's the responsible guy in the friend group. He's like, no, like don't fight, guys. Like stop, think first. So he's the responsible guy. I feel like also in his utility vest, he has lots of pockets. He keeps like maybe band-aids and snacks and berries, maybe like dry berries, because robins like berries a lot, apparently, according to my research. But yeah, he's a very responsible guy. He always has what you need on hand, and he's always just trying to like keep things organized and keep things under control. So that's kind of what I envisioned when creating this character. In terms of his appearance, I tried to keep his hair like a little like spiky-ish, kind of like to like mirror feathers a little bit. Initially, I wanted him to have glasses because robins have like a white rim around their eyes, but I wanted to do circular glasses if I would, and I did, and it was just like too Harry Potter. So I was like, no, I don't want to do like glasses for him anymore, but I still think he looks very cute. He also has like a little dinosaur egg on his patch on his utility belt. which I'll do like a close-up when I do the fashion pieces. And then lastly, our blue jay. There's a lot of information on like blue jay behavior. I feel like they have very big personalities. So this guy is, in terms of like what I took from the bird, he's very like, his personality is very aggressive because I learned that blue jays can sometimes eat the eggs of other birds. That's not their main diet. Like they're not out every day looking for others like birds' eggs, but like I guess if push comes to shove, they will like eat the eggs of another bird. So he can be very aggressive. Again, they're all very nice guys, but like if push comes to shove, like he can be very, very aggressive. However, he's also the mastermind of the group because blue jays are very resourceful and intelligent. And I thought it was really cool that they sometimes mimic other birds in order to like trick them into leaving their nest so they can go wreak havoc, I suppose. And I feel like that's kind of his personality. He's like the mastermind. He knows how to like, if something's going wrong and they need to get like, I don't know, revenge on someone, he's like organizing it all. He knows how to like push people's buttons. He knows how to get his way. And he loves to tease people. Like, I think I also kind of connected that to like the mimicking, and that's why he's like always teasing the robin. They're still besties, but like he's always teasing him and giving him a hard time, and he knows like that's just the way he is. He's just kind of annoying. But yeah, that's why he's like teasing him, and he's trying to like steal his snacks from his pocket. The blue jay is stealing the robin snacks. That's why I'm picking him up and giving him a hard time. And then another thing in terms of his appearance, so blue jays are the loudest and most colorful. So that's why he has a very like flashy outfit on. He has like a really cool dangly heart earring, some nice glasses, a nice watch, a very flashy shirt, and then like very bold black pants. So that's kind of what I interpreted, what I took from my research on the blue jay and kind of how I put it into a personality. So it doesn't necessarily look like a blue jay. Like, I mean, I did try to do like a bit of like spikier hair to kind of like mimic that. Like, I don't know, it looks like a slick back hairstyle, even though he doesn't have one, just kind of like, you know, something kind of sticking out. But it's more about like the essence, I guess, of the bird and like how I could interpret that into a delinquent character. But that's essentially it. Like, that's their lore. Again, they're three delinquents: the fighter, the one who eggs them on, and the one who probably plans it out and maybe encourages it. And the one who's like, no, stop. But again, they all get along. They ride cool bikes. They have fun. And they're never like causing trouble for no reason. So that's basically their lore. That's who these guys are. Hopefully, like, you think they're cool. I think they're super cool. But yeah. So moving on now. Okay, in terms of the sketches, like as I've done in the past, I share sketches. It's kind of complicated this time because again, as I mentioned, I had the whole like I had the idea, but I didn't know how to like the aim was to flesh it out. Like, how am I going to put it all together? So I did this whole thing. Like, I had this whole idea, and I pretty much almost finished the illustration, and then I changed it. I didn't really change it. I just kind of like I turned into a different parking lot or something. And I wasn't sure if I wanted to show like what I did before, because I'm like, oh, it's just like not a big mistake. It's just like, I don't know. I kind of feel like a little discouraged about it. However, like I feel like I'll show it because you know what? Like everyone has like difficulties. Everyone faces challenges. Even when you're making art, it's like, I think sometimes when you look at like the art people show, it's like, wow, like that's so cool. Like, I don't know, probably had so much fun making it. And I always do say I have fun making it, but sometimes the fun is mixed with like, I don't know, waves and waves and waves and a tsunami of frustration. And then the tsunami goes away and then it's like calm and then it's fine again. So for me, I don't know, there's lots of big emotions when I'm drawing sometimes. It depends how it goes. So I think I will kind of briefly go over everything and maybe I'll show like the one that I scrapped in the end. But I did use that one to like help me with the new one. So like I wasn't like spending like too much time on like finishing this whole thing because I had already spent time on the other one. Okay, so going over sketches. So first I'm going to go over some sketches that like didn't work out. At first I kind of wanted to do like something landscape, like with like them lying down and stuff.
don't know why I didn't like the idea. Like, again, I think there were just so many options. It was like, okay, I have to pick like what I think is the best one. I do think I haven't done a landscape illustration yet, so I kind of do want to do one of those. But I did play with like a few scenarios in my head, and I went with a portrait one instead. So like these next two are just like portrait. This one's upside down. It's okay. It's hard to tell what it is anyway. These next ones are, this one's right side up. Just some like portrait ideas that I had. And this one's another one that didn't work out. At some point, I did also want to do like, this one's upside down too. When I wanted to do like the golden win kind of idea, I wanted like the one guy to hold like a scepter. That was an idea that I was playing with. But again, I went with the more like traditional delinquent vibe towards the end. So these are things that like didn't work out. I had a bunch of thumbnails as well that kind of didn't end up being anything. But in terms of like the main illustration, it kind of started to come together around here. Again, the guy in the front and the two in the back. At this point, I wasn't 1,000% sure about the background. But I was okay with, actually this was first. I was okay with the positioning, like the placement, like composition for the most part. And then I kind of like added a bit more details. Obviously, like I think I ended up giving this guy a bit like a brighter, youthful look, which I'm kind of glad because again, like thinking of the bird, it's like I think bright and youthful and like cheery kind of thing, even though it's a bit aggressive. So then I kind of played with the anatomy a bit more, like how everything would look. I did like these were supposed to be like two hands, like hitting your hands together, kind of like in an aggressive way. But I eventually went with the baseball bat that you see there. So from here, I kind of again, I usually do like bodies first and then I add clothes on later. I know everyone does it differently, but for me, I like to do the bodies and then add clothes afterward. And then again, I just kind of refine the body a bit more. His face is a lot different. As I mentioned, like I totally went not a different route, but like a bit of a different route in the end, especially with this character. So that's kind of what changed the most. And the background too. So initially I was kind of going to do like where they hang out, but that also took a turn. And I'll kind of show you that stuff in a second. I think when I kind of decided to do more of like a street clothes kind of look. Like the background also kind of changed in my head. I think the previous background would have been nice for more of like again like a golden win kind of mafia vibe, but this one was more of like I don't know. I needed something a bit different. And then I kind of refined the outfits a bit more. I think at this point, like his face didn't look right, and I think I just kind of kept going. I think sometimes it's just like excitement, and sometimes it's kind of like, when you have like blush blindness and you just don't see it because you're just like excited, like oh my god, I love the blush, and it's like oh my god, I'm having so much fun, I'm drawing, and then sometimes you don't see it till later on. So usually I will catch things, but yeah, I kind of caught it way later than I normally do, and like I had to change it because I wanted to be like fully happy with what I drew in the end. And I did end up changing like a few things here and there as well, but yeah, his whole like body changed, like the whole everything. So I'm kind of happy that I did, and you can kind of see like the big difference here as well. But this was kind of like the main sketch that I went with when I started inking. My battery is gonna die. Oh no, let's see how far I get before it does. I really need to get another one. Okay, so in terms of background, once I kind of strayed from the interior kind of idea, I wanted to do like a chained fence, and I really wanted to do sunflowers. And I wanted to do sunflowers because again, something I researched was that cardinals really like sunflowers. So I was like, okay, like I kind of want to incorporate sunflowers into that. So I made like a grid. Like I just used my ruler and made like centimeter grid paper on the 11 by 17. And then using my light box, I just went ahead and did the chain fence on top. And then behind, I really wanted to do sunflowers. I played with a lot of sunflower like ideas and backgrounds. But in the end, I kind of felt that like I liked the idea, but I feel like when you're doing like a bunch of flowers, it's hard to like it's not like you do the flowers, sure, but then when you put like the chain fence on top, it was just looking like way too busy. And I didn't want it to be like too busy, but I still kept playing with these sunflowers, as you see me just putting page after page of just kind of playing around with the sunflower idea. And then eventually I was just like, no, it's not coming to as I wanted it to. So from there, I still used the chain fence that I made earlier. However, I changed the background. So I was thinking of doing like their hangout spot, like where they like ride their bikes. That's why I put some pylons there. I don't know, like maybe they do like tricks and stuff. That might be cool, I think, with their bikes. Maybe you don't need pylons, but in my head, it made sense at the time. And like I did the sunflower planter because I still wanted to incorporate that, especially where there was like the break in the chain fence. And then just like the sky in the background. And then this is like a wall just with like some pipes, like a broken no loitering sign because you know, like they're delinquents. Sometimes they just go against the rules with some foliage and then a vending machine. So I thought that would look cool. So I went ahead and I like did everything and I pretty much almost finished the whole illustration. And I'm like, do I show it? And it's like, I guess so. So this is kind of how it turned out before. I don't know. When I showed my boyfriend, he's like, no, it looks fine. But I'm like, no, his face really looks off. And it just bothered me. And I think I was just like blush blindness, you know, just going in, having fun, just doing the strokes. And then it's like, whoa, I like stepped back and I came back to it and I was like, no, it doesn't look right. So yeah. And it wasn't giving the vibe I wanted. I think like what I was kind of going for was, again, I kind of wanted the softness of the flowers with like the delinquent vibe. And I do think the scene is okay. Like it can tell a lot, but I think maybe it just says there's just too much going on. And I kind of wanted it to be a bit more like impactful. So I used this for these two guys. Like I just used my light box. There are very slight differences. Um but I completely like scrapped this and I just drew it with pencil on this paper and then went over it with the pencil. And then I like just did the like background straight on the paper as well with the sunflowers and like the little hatching details. And then I just went in with the big marker to kind of change it. So that's kind of where this came from. I'm going to get rid of it now. I don't like it. And I'm very much happier with what I had in the end here. Charge my camera battery and I will return for the ending of this video. Okay, so moving on to the fashion aspects, like what things were that I really want to draw, what was like most exciting for me to like figure out and put together. So I think let's start with the robin. For the robin over here, I really wanted to do a utility vest. So I kind of gave it like a little pattern on like the edge. Um like just to kind of have like a like not just like the horizontal hatching, just to kind of like divide it up a bit. And then, as I mentioned before, I did the patch with the little like egg. It's supposed to be like a little robin's egg. So I thought that was like a cute little detail over here. And then I just kind of added like a few accessories. Like, well, I just have the bracelet, oh my goodness, I can't think of the word, like the checkered, that's the word, the checkered bracelet. And then, as I mentioned, like the motorbike gloves. And like I just like maybe they're not specifically looking exactly what a motorbike glove would look like, but I really just wanted to do that style. That's kind of the idea that I was kind of going for. So that's pretty much it for the robin. For the blue jay over here, I really wanted to do a flashy shirt, as I mentioned, because you know they are very like flashy, loud bird. So I kind of did like kind of like not an airbrushy look, but kind of like an airbrush esque look with like little like kind of like berries. They're meant to kind of be berry esque as well, just to kind of go with the whole like berries and seeds thing for birds. And then he has like a little undershirt. And I wanted to do again, as I mentioned, like just bold black pants with the belt. I wanted to focus not like entirely on accessories because I didn't do that many, But I did want him to have the most accessories. As I mentioned, I did like the glasses with the earring and then like the watch, just because again, he's supposed to be very flashy. Um, these are meant like in my mind in the lore for it to be like just regular eyeglasses. Like he's one of those like people that looks really good in glasses. Probably looks good without them too, but he also looks very cool with his glasses, I think. I think a cool detail is for his gloves, I did do my signature as the branding on the gloves. So I think I'm kind of having fun with figuring out where I'm gonna stick my signature in my illustration. Like for the jam one, if you've seen that video, I put it on the jam jar. So I think that maybe that'll be something a little fun that I want to do in the future. But yeah, his main focus, I think what I had the most fun with was doing his accessories. I really love doing the utility vest for the Robin. And for the cardinal, I really wanted to do a bandana. I was going with like many like ideas for the patterning. Initially I wanted to do like a star or like a sun pattern, but I do kind of like the I'm not even sure what to call it. Like I just kind of went with this pattern. It just kind of, I don't know. I was like, okay, I did like the crisscrossies and I'm like, okay, I think it would be cool to have kind of like a circular pattern on top. And I kind of just went with it. And I'm really glad with the pattern that came out. Again, I also wanted to focus a lot on his hair, just have really shiny hair. And then I just wanted to do like a singular like chain necklace. I thought that would be cool. And for like the cardinal clothing, I wanted to just keep it kind of like sporty and kind of like revealing, I guess, in a way. Like he likes to show off his muscles. So I just wanted to do like a jersey-ish kind of shirt, like nothing too crazy. I mostly wanted like to keep the focus on the center here. So that was like the bold bandana with the baseball bat. I had a lot of fun with the baseball bat. It has like flames and it says like play ball. And then his glove. His glove is like a closer view. And they all have like different brandings. So his has Ariel. This one is my signature, like orenjpiko, and this one says free. So they have like their own gloves that kind of like have to do with like, well, one is my signature, but like the bird theme as well. So those were pretty much like the main fashion points that I had like the most fun with. And I kind of got done what I wanted to, even though again, I changed like the drawing more than halfway through. Like even for like switching from the last one, I am happy that like I wanted to keep it bold for the cardinal, but I ended up kind of doing almost an all black look. But I feel like it wasn't like it was bold, but it wasn't as fun. So I did also kind of want to go in and like brainstorm a bit more about his outfit, which I'm kind of glad that I did because I'm really happy with how it all came out. Just adjust here. But yeah, those are the sketches we just went over, and then we did the fashion pieces, and that's pretty much everything. Yes, as I mentioned, that's pretty much everything. I just want to say thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed learning about like the whole crazy production of this illustration. And I don't know if I did my t-shirt, but today's t-shirt is a band t-shirt. So it's actually a Flow t-shirt from their concert. I'm out of frame. I'm still learning how to do this. But yes, today's t-shirt is a concert t-shirt. But yes, thank you so much again. My shop is in the works. I'm hoping for a summer opening, and you'll definitely be able to see this illustration as a print in my shop. So I hope you stick around. Please subscribe. Thank you again. I really appreciate you. And bye. See you in the next one.